Good afternoon. My name is Rhonda Mitchell. I'm the chair of the Hayden Urban Renewal Agency. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Could I have a roll call of the board members, please?
Rhonda Mitchell.
Here.
Steve Meyer.
Here.
Colin Meehan.
Here.
Randy McIntyre.
Here.
Michael Thayer.
Here.
Matt Roeder.
Here.
Joy Richards.
Here. All right, could we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Colin, would you like to lead us?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? We do have an amended agenda that I'd like to bring to everyone's attention. We have added, because the agreement came at the very last minute and we wanted to get that discussed, is our solid rock property management contract.
I move to accept the amended agenda as presented in our packet.
Do I have?
Second.
Do I need a roll call vote, or can we just all in favor on that one?
It's part of the consent calendar. Approval of the amended agenda is part of the consent calendar.
Okay, so we'll do it part of till the consent calendar, okay? Do we have any conflicts of interest today? None noted. Visitor or public comments? Does anyone like to make a comment at this time? Okay. None noted. We need approval for a consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as well as the amended agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Rhonda Mitchell.
Yes.
Steve Meyer.
Yes.
Colin Meehan.
Yes.
Randy McIntyre.
Yes.
Michael Thayer.
Yes.
Matt Roeder.
Yes.
Joy Richards.
Yes.
Okay, continuing business. We have the audited Anderson budget CPA agreement letter, which we discussed at our last meeting. This is the official letter for approval to engage them for services for next year.
Right, so at the last meeting, we talked about this and we talked about that it was more than the year before. And so you directed me to reach out to some other CPAs that do this kind of work. So what I did is I talked to Scott Hoover that manages properties that does the audit for Ignite. And then I also got a quote from Magnuson and McHugh, and theirs was quite a bit higher. And when I talked to Scott Hoover from Ignite, he didn't have the capacity to take on and he was really, really informative to talk with him. He said that it is a specialized kind of work to audit for public agencies, and not just any CPA is going to do that work. And so he basically said there's the three in North Idaho, him, Magnuson McHugh, and Anderson Brothers. And so I got a quote from Magnuson McHugh, it was higher. And then our other option would be to start going into Spokane to look at other ones in Spokane. So which is likely gonna be higher as well. So my recommendation is just to go with Anderson Brothers. I know it's more across the board. Everyone's audits, it seems like they're going up. The city's audit number has gone up as well. But Anderson Brothers has done it for a long time. They also do the cities, so there is a simplicity there because our finance people are the same as the cities. And so that's why it's back in front of you.
Did you happen to learn what it costs for Ignite's audit? Which is a similar scope of work to us, probably.
I don't think I asked him that. I believe that I did tell him what Anderson Brothers' quote was, and his recommendation was to go with it.
take it.
Yeah, so, but I did get another quote and it was higher, so.
Mhm.
So that's what I learned in that process, that we probably don't wanna just go with any CPA, just go pick somebody who doesn't do that on a regular basis, cause he did describe it as a specialized kind of work that not too many get into.
I have some experience moving from Magnuson to Moss Adams and in Spokane. Moss Adams does public accounting work, agency work. They do it for the college foundation. And they're good, but they are more expensive.
That was another one. I knew that they were in Spokane. I didn't reach out to them.
I don't
I
think.
figured they'd be more, so.
Any other discussion?
No.
So I hear a,
Pete, what would be the motion here to engage Anderson Brothers, or?
To approve the engagement letter.
I move to approve the engagement letter as presented.
I'll second that.
it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Well,
No? Okay. Can we have a roll call vote on this, please?
Rhonda Mitchell,
Yes?
Steve Meyer,
yes.
Colin Meehan,
Yes.
Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roder,
Yes.
Joy Richard.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. New business, election of officers.
I think you want to do this one at a time or as a block?
You can do it either way. I think
Either
last
way.
year we did it one at a time, but it doesn't matter.
Has that already been a year? I feel like we did this
It
like
has
4
been
months
quite
ago.
a year.
But it's
by
close.
Our bylaws is supposed to happen in October, but I don't think that happened last year, so I think we did it in
It was January.
January or February.
Had a little
So,
bit,
yeah,
well, we
that's
had a
what
little
I
bit
think.
of a transition time
Right.
there without a full.
I think our chair and vice chair and the other secretary and treasurer function nicely. Thank you, Rhonda, in particular. So I move that we reappoint all 4 of the existing.
I
I don't
second
mean
it.
to do that without discussion. I want to get a motion on the table so everybody else can talk about it.
We have a second.
I second it.
Further discussion?
I think you guys have all done a wonderful job, and I see no reason not to continue.
Andy?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Okay, so to be clear, that would be Rhonda as chair, Randy as vice chair, Steve as treasurer, and Colin as secretary.
Correct. Okay. Could I have a roll call vote?
Rhonda Mitchell,
Yes?
Steve Meyer,
Yes.
Colin Meehan,
Yes.
Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roder,
Yes.
Joy Richard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is this for a 5-year term?
I believe we'll revisit this next October.
Do we have to do it 1 year at a time?
Yeah.
Annual.
We need to move into executive session at this time.
I move to enter executive session in accordance with Idaho Code 74-2061F and Idaho Code 74-2061C.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need a roll call vote on that.
We do need a roll call vote? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Rhonda Mitchell,
Yes.
Steve Meyer,
Yes.
Colin Meehan,
Yes.
Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roder,
Yes.
Joy Richard.
Yes.
Okay, we are out of executive session, moving to new business next on our agenda, which is the Solid Rock Property Management Contract that was just added to your packet. Melissa?
Yeah, so that got added in the agenda, or in the packet, when we amended the agenda. And that is the contract to have them manage the 58 East Orchard property. And what I'll say is for the last 2 months, they kind of have been because the tenant pays their money to them, and then they just turn around and send a check to us. So that's the extent of what they've done for the last 2 months, but.
And this is basically the existing property manager sold to this company and they wanna
Yes.
they take it over essentially.
They just kind of assumed all of his, property management
Mhm.
clients, and we're one of them. And so I would say that it would be nice to have a property manager, you know, because like right now their heat doesn't work and I don't really wanna go try to figure that out. I'd rather have them do that. So I believe it is for a year, but Pete might know if we do something else with the property, if we can break that or not.
I remember reading this before now, and I did not see an escape. I also don't see a reporting provision here that Solid Rock will send us quarterly statements or something like
Monthly,
that.
they should send monthly statements.
Well, just one parcel, that's, I don't know. We should ask them what they plan, but it says here that they'll maintain records and they'll be available for our inspection upon notice. Which is not quite the same as sending a statement. That's why I suggested maybe quarterly.
Hmm.
How much information is too much
Like that to
information?
the contract.
What was that?
I didn't have them add something like that.
I
suppose.
suggest you get quarterly statements and you get 90-day notice of termination or something. Just so we can get out.
Well, it says they conduct annual inspections.
Well, it says
Which
move
is
in,
more
and
than we were
it
getting
says annual and move in, doesn't it?
Annual
Yeah.
and move out, yeah.
So that's.
So, under section 7, sub 3, under severability, it allows if the agency's going to sell the property, we could give them 30 days notice
Okay.
and terminate the contract.
Mhm.
If we want to sell. Suppose we decide to demolish, well, I don't know that we have any obligation ongoing if there's nothing to be leased. Guess there's nothing to be leased, you take it 6% of nothing.
Right, they wouldn't really be managing the property anymore then.
I know this is not the case for this particular one, but I think that it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a conflict of interest clause in any document that we have, that the proprietors of this new company do not have any other projects that are getting HURA funding, or however that would think. I mean, Pete, would that be a good idea or bad, or it's irrelevant?
That'd be fine, yeah.
Okay.
One issue that came up with our last property manager was there a deposit or not? And I don't know if that was ever resolved. Do we have anything in here that requires or shows that we received a deposit, or what we do with a deposit if we have one?
I don't think there is any mention of deposit on here, and I have not tracked down, all we know is that that a deposit wasn't transferred to Solid Rock. So my next step was to ask the tenants if they paid a deposit. I mean, that's literally all I could do.
Suspicious if they don't.
The security deposits are
I mean, I'm very
referenced
serious.
between the tenants and
I
the
don't think that's bad,
property
but
managers. In this case, the lease
Kind of
was
small
there
town.
with the security
Yeah.
deposit.
I think it's just.
And we've had, we're trying to figure out if there was one, and based on the records we've received, we can't determine, it doesn't look like there's ever one today, so.
Okay, since we're at B, we've entered into a new lease with the tenants.
No, we have,
Oh,
still
okay.
month to month.
So then the question is, do we want to incorporate a deposit if we go forward?
Definitely, if we have them sign a new lease,
Right.
we'll require a
Okay.
deposit.
So I just want to bring it up.
And then Solid Rock would help us get a new lease.
Okay.
I don't know why we need a deposit. Okay, so we wanna go back and make
this is an action item, but I think we have some adjustments that we wanted to make to this
Yeah,
contract, so
We'll need to make some changes and let's put it on the next agenda.
no action then.
So are the tenants sending rent to us now? No.
No, they've been operating under
They
good
send the rent
faith
to
with
Solid Rock,
Solid Rock.
because that's what John's,
Oh,
so
assignment.
I also don't know what to do about heat in the meantime. So if we don't, I mean, Solid Rock can go do it, but we're not technically under contract with them, so that seems
Well,
pretty.
I think we can directly take care of that ourselves as the landlord. We can have a HVAC company go in there and fix it, if it needs to be fixed. It's kind of our obligation as the landlord, so.
Okay. Okay.
Do you need suggestions for HVAC and stuff? Okay. Okay.
Just wants you to get some bids and see
Okay.
the cheapest.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to them, so I don't know what's
Wrong.
wrong.
Okay.
So the adjustments to the contract were just a conflict of interest. Was there anything else?
Quarterly report.
We need to be, I think, clear about any sort of the deposit, whether or not there was ever one received by the previous one and what happened to it. I don't know if that's in the contract, but if
Yeah,
there,
that wouldn't be in Solid Rock's contract, but it would
It-
certainly be in the new lease.
If we add to the agreement that they send us quarterly statements, the balance sheet will show a liability to the tenant for the deposit amount, so we'll know if they have it and what the amount is. And we'll have quarterly income, so it'll show $4,800 of income for the previous quarter. So I would add that they'll publish a statement, not just allow us to come inspect it in their office. And they surely have software that keeps track of rental stuff with the capacity to generate statements by property. If they don't have that, then
oh, well, it says that's in here already.
Monthly statement.
Go, nope. Solid Rock shall submit monthly statements to owner of all receipts and disbursement no later than 14 days after receipt of rent for the month.
well, statement of receipts is a little. I guess one way to explore that is ask them to give you a sample of what they,
Yeah,
Provide.
sure.
but I'd rather have a simple income statement and a simple balance sheet because it discloses the deposit.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I can ask them for that.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I missed that on the front side.
I did too, because I looked at the other section.
Mm.
I'm afraid I don't think we'll ever have an answer for the deposit.
We've spent way more time than it's worth at this point.
Right.
Let's
Exactly.
just move on.
So,
I mean, if they made a deposit, if we kick them out, they may produce a check where they paid a deposit, and we'll have to reimburse them.
Sure. Yeah.
all right. Next under our new business, which is an action item, is potential sale or redevelopment of a URA property.
Okay, so what I just wanted to kind of float out there is trying to come up with an actual plan for the property that we own over there at 58 East Orchard and the little parking lot. And I know that this is kind of contingent upon other properties that we don't own right now. But just a reminder that this district closes in 2029. And it's almost 2024. And so there's really not a lot of time to just keep holding on to that property and not decide what a plan might be. One thing that I know that the other URAs do is come up with potential development plans for it and then figure out, with the help of consultants that do that type of thing, to kind of run like development scenarios and figure out what might pencil on properties. And then you can, if you want to sell it or if you want to put it out for development, then you could put an informed, RFP package together that developers could propose on. We could run that with just a community center, but again, we have to be able to fund, maintain everything a community center. I mean, I know that people have been really interested in that, but actually see if it would fit and if there would be enough parking, if there, kind of actually try to, I've done some just quick sketches, but I've never looked at what could actually happen on this property. It doesn't have to be action today, but just wondering if it's time with 5 years left to really start figuring out what might happen with that piece of property. It's zoned mixed use, so it could potentially be a mixture of retail space and multifamily living on it as well. And just trying to see what might be some development alternatives that you guys would consider on there.
And you're talking about the orchard property?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we undertake study work until we know what happens to the home?
Right, that's what I said. So this is just like floating it out there. We don't know. We could do it with and without the Owl Cafe property. We could, there's a deadline looming of, we've got 5 years. And then
I think it's a good idea, but it might be a little bit cart before the horse until
Okay.
we know what's happening with some of the other real estate around here.
If we're successful at this owl conversation, that makes an entirely different planning process. But I'd rather not spend any planning money until we have a better view of where we're going.
Okay.
Thank you, though, I think, reminding us that 5 years are gonna fly by.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Let's move on to your executive director report.
I don't know that I have a whole lot else to tell you about. We've still got an OPA that I'm just waiting on materials from them, that Hayden pickleball one, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing's come forward yet. They're just kind of working through their site plan with the city, and then when they get that nailed down, then they'll redo the estimates, and then I'll have something to put into a document. So that's kind of the stage that we're at right now, just kind of waiting. Other than that, all the other OPAs are still just kind of working through the process. The one on the corner, kind of across from Hayden Pickleball, actually, they haven't ever submitted their costs. So, and I remind them all the time that they haven't submitted their
The one on
costs.
Miles?
So we've never moved on to the promissory note on that one.
Marketplace at Miles.
But that's,
Oh, the marketplace on Miles.
I think
yeah,
they've
Marketplace at
pivoted their-
Miles, that's their responsibility to provide that, so. I haven't done anything on that one.
Okay,
Didn't they build a coffee place on it now?
anything else? Thank you, Melissa.
Well,
Oh.
here, the next one says Kootenai County, is this the right agenda?
Uh-huh.
Kootenai County URA Summit Overview.
Yes,
What's that
so Joy and Colin and I attended the first Kootenai County URA Summit a few weeks ago. And that, people that were in attendance were us, Post Falls, URA, Ignite, and Spirit Lake. And it was basically just trying to kind of see what everyone else was up to and what issues they were having, or just kind of share some knowledge. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot that occurred at that meeting. I think everyone was kind of just trying to feel out what may occur. But one of the things that came up was having probably us, Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, do a little more on getting the message out to the community on the benefits, or just what URAs are and what they do and then the benefits of them. And so one thing that we've discussed is putting like a very simple presentation together that would be like URA primer or something like that, for our area, that would allow people to go to Upbeat breakfasts or Rotary or that type of thing and give kind of a coordinated discussion on it's just understanding how confusing it is for a lot of people trying to be that. I didn't, before I, jumped in and started to help on anything like that, I wanted to make sure that was something you guys had any interest in me spending time on.
It seemed like most of the agencies that were there, and Joy, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of similar questions come up, issues come up. It seemed pretty consistent through most of them. And the information part of it was a key component. There's so much misunderstanding about what happens. So examples that might show what an agency's done. If they hadn't done it, what would be the impact to the city, whether it's a cost, taxes, whatever the case is. So outside of that, it was pretty general discussion, I would say.
It was public relations. Have her go out into the community when invited, or make invitations or offer to come and talk about what we've done. And public relations,
right?
yeah, the benefits.
I wonder if we should ask Ryan Armbruster, the Urban Renewal Agency attorney in Boise, if such a document doesn't already exist.
Sure.
We have to
Yeah,
buy
I mean, we
his
wouldn't reinvent
firm
the
or
wheel.
buy other agencies,
Well,
so we don't reinvent it, because it all falls under the Idaho law.
Absolutely, but they were saying that every URA is different, and they really are. And so to just kind of say, here's the general information about URAs that come from, Ryan probably, but then here's like specific things about Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls and Hayden. This is what URAs have done in our community.
you've spent a lot of time already on our website with those facts, questions, and so I think we really have put forth an effort to try to explain as best we can to the community. I don't know that we need to reinvent another wheel. Do you feel?
At some point, the public has to come out and try and figure it out, right? They have, the information's out there, they have to come and find it.
Right,
You can't spoon feed it to everybody.
right.
It's just complicated enough that unless somebody, the public side, takes a keen interest in asking questions or looking at our webpage, it's easy to misunderstand. But the work that you did and Melissa on the webpage is pretty good. And some of that's prompted by Sandy's questions. That explanations are better now than we had before.
Sure.
I'd say see what Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls do, and if there's a way we can help do it, then that's great, but I don't see it as your job to drive the bus on that one.
No, it was just kind of, helping with their same effort that
Yeah.
they haven't even started either, but
Yeah.
it was just a thought, like, would we wanna coordinate on a message, amongst the three or the four, Spirit Lake too. Just kind
Melissa,
of-
was that a meeting like that? Was there some frequency? I don't remember if they said they were somebody would host that annually, or do you remember that coming up?
It was supposed to be at least annually, I don't know, do you know, Kate?
Well, it was Post Falls idea, which is also a client of mine. And
Right.
I don't think it's set in stone that it's gonna be annual. They wanted to to see how it went. And so we'll just kind of take it from there, I guess. Want to do another one next year. So.
I guess my feeling would be that if it was a local Hayden organization that wanted, had a request for someone from HURA to come and give that description and a question answer period. I don't know what that organization might be, maybe a
Probably the
Rotary
chamber
or club or a
something.
chamber of commerce
Yep.
local to Hayden, that's, if they invited us, then we would want to consider that action.
One thing that, I know Sandy prompted some questions and, then those questions were answered, at least some of them, on our website. And one thing that I did see that I'd like to have clarified and because I'm kind of confused about it, is that when we went out to vote on the base budget increase to increase the number of deputies, we did publicly go out and say about $40,000 would be collected more in increment for the Hayden Urban Renewal Agency, but then on our website, we're saying it didn't happen. So I would really like to know what is the answer to that question? Because we like I said, we did go out publicly with that, saying as part of the information about the vote that and Brett did the calculations or got them from the state tax commission, I don't know which, or the county, I don't know what. So if we could have that clarified, I'd appreciate that.
I think that is on our website, and Pete can correct me if I'm wrong, but URAs don't get anything from a special levy like that.
But it increases the overall.
You checked with the assessor's office.
Yeah, we
didn't you?
checked and we
They
got
said-
a response on that.
Matt, when you say we, do you mean the city council? Because I don't recall her ever saying that.
No, it was the city that
Okay.
disclosed that information, and we can get a copy of that.
Okay.
Because I remember it distinctly, because I was making issue of what happens if the levy rate goes up. Of course, that affects urban renewal, and so,
Right, we reached out to the county, and then we got a response from the county that said something like after 2007, special levies like that, special assessments are not attributed to URAs or something. There's an FAQ on the website, we could check that out.
yeah, in 2007, I went down and testified before the House Tax and Rev Committee, and it was about when the school district went out for a bond levy, people were voting to increase money to go to the schools, not to go to urban renewal. So there was a law passed that would not happen. That would exclude any monies going to any urban renewal districts with the passage of bonds or levies to schools. Now, whether that applies to fire districts or cities, I don't know. And that would be the question, is does that include all taxing districts, or does it only include schools? Because at the time that passed, it was only involving schools or school districts.
So I just pulled up the email that we got back from the assessor's office on this issue. They said taxes collected from voter-approved levies after 2007 go to the underlying taxing district, not to the URA. The Hayden URA will not see an increase to their collections due to this new levy. So that's what.
And I think I put that almost verbatim
Right,
as the
right, that's what I-
FAQ,
I read
yeah.
that, yeah.
So does that answer your question then, Matt?
Pardon?
That answer your question?
It sounds like the city
For
needs
now.
to go back and double check what they stated and possibly correct it, not the URA, because we never said anything as a URA.
Do they state the Idaho code that gave to the response to your question?
There was no code reference in the.
Could we find out what that code reference is? We don't have to do it now, but if you could send that'd be good. Because I know Brett did a very exhaustive search on that.
Might want to forward that email to Brett and have Brett research it.
Okay,
I think he received this. I mean, I'll make sure, but I'm pretty sure I sent that to him. 'Cause I think it was a question that came up.
Okay. And then last on your reports is the ULI conference overview.
And that would have been you, Steve. Did you attend the conference?
It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ULI has two national conferences a year, one in the east and one in the west. And at the end of this month, it's going to be in LA, and I plan to go. And the ticket for a agency member like us is not very much, $150 or something. And so when I'll go and come back with the report on sessions I went to and how it might be relevant to us or not, and that sort of thing. And the conference is interesting enough, it's over the Halloween Tuesday. It starts Monday, the end of the month, and runs till Friday the 5th, I think.
So the real question is, are you gonna wear your costume to the conference on Halloween?
I haven't even planned which costume I'm gonna take. I have to open up the closet door.
There you go.
The Elmo may be this big.
Yeah.
So anyway, I will report
Great.
when I get back. Anybody else wants to go?
Right. We registered
We
you before
figured
the
it out.
deadline, but there was a deadline
Realistically.
to be
Yeah.
cheaper. So,
We'll be trick-or-treating with the little kids, so.
All right.
so I guess
Alright.
we'll wait for next time for that report.
Next on the agenda is our next meeting, which will be November 13th.
What was the date? I'm sorry.
It's November 13th?
Okay, got it. Right.
Yep.
Is that the regular
Just the
Monday?
regular Monday.
afternoon?
Yeah, that's just the regular Monday. All right. I will call a meeting.
I will motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's non-debatable.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.